It's a gorgeous day. Spring's just around the corner. And joining me is Kathy Henwood. She's program assistant for Safety and Health Center with OSU, operating on a grant to help young people at this point. I understand probably more in safety and health, but the last 2 days you've been working with ATVs. How long has there been an ATV safety program?
The 4-H ATV Safety program has been going on for about 20-some years. It kind of takes ups and downs, and right now Ohio's pushing ATV safety as a priority area.
Now, we talk about ATV safety through 4-H. It's the same program you might see if you take the time when you buy a four-wheeler or at a four-wheeler shop. You're just able to take it to a lot more people.
Right. We're working with ASI, the ATV Safety Institute, to promote the rider course, which is the same course that you get when you buy an ATV. This program, it's free. There's no charge through our program, and it's anybody ages 6 to older.
Now, when you say age 6, you at that point, it really gets down to, well, 6 or 10 or maybe any age at that point. It really comes down to the size of the machine, to the physical and mental capabilities of the rider.
Right. The biggest injuries for the smaller children are they're on the wrong size ATV, so during the course they're only allowed to ride the size ATV for their age, and the control. The bigger ones they just can't control, they don't fit, so they just don't have the mental strength or the physical strength to do it.
Yeah, they don't ride like the big wheel. They don't ride like your pedal tractor pull. They ride entirely different. I think you guys called it interactive riding.
Right. When you're on an ATV, you move around the seat, you're shifting your weight, you're up, you're down, so it's only meant for one person because it's very interactive.
When we talk about different size machines, obviously different horsepowers and things, what were some of the objectives that you wanted people to understand through the 4-hour training?
During the 4-hour training, you go through turns, stops, the basics, where your controls are, because every ATV is different, so you need to know what your controls are. Then you do turns, swerves, emergency swerving, hills and obstacles, and then a trail ride at the end.
A trail ride at the end, that'll be a lot of fun for the different kids. Now, kids also here, we're talking college students. The video shows several different people working through different programs. How was it like working with college students? Because I'm sure some of these folks have ridden before.
Oh, the college kids are always fun. Most of them I've ridden before, but we did have some people say, this one handles a lot different than the one I ride at home, so it just goes to help prove to them that every ATV is different.
Here, there were probably some saying Flatland is one thing, but you go to Southeast Ohio or some places where they have some riding courses, it's an entirely different set of obstacles.
Right. Flatland's different than hills, and so they did good. You learned how to traverse a hill, to ride across a slope. You can't go up. You can go up almost any, but you can't go across the slopes on all of them.
All right, before we bring Doug in and talk about some of the individual things, how can we find out more about potential trainings in our area?
To find out about the trainings in your area, I would encourage you to contact your local extension office, or they can also contact me up here on campus, and that number is 614-292-0622.
Talking now with Doug Morris. He's from Pickerington, Ohio, and he works with ATV Safety all the time. Doug, there's actually an institute for ATV safety that you work through?
Oh my goodness, yes. Way back in the mid-'80s, with when we had the controversy with the three-wheelers, the manufacturers got together and they created the Specialty Vehicle Institute, which then developed the ATV rider course. And that rider course has been free to the public since 1988.
Well, you talk about the changes. They were forward-thinking and saying, if we're going to preserve the ability to have these great machines out here, we've got to make sure that people are safe. How much has the ATV itself changed, and then the way that people have to ride it over those years?
Wow, that's an excellent question. A lot of you out there may remember the three-wheelers. We don't see a lot of them around anymore. And they took a lot of different riding technique to be able to handle those. The manufacturers realized that, let's face it, 4 wheels are a lot more stable than 3. They came out with the 4-wheelers, and then each year they've gotten to be wider and bigger and more powerful and more features. I mean, you can buy an ATV that's got a built-in GPS on it now. So, I mean, they've gotten really, really sophisticated, become some real good work tools.
Talk about some of the techniques. The first surprise for young people to get on an ATV that's not been on one, is it simply how big they are?
Bigger isn't always better in this case, because like Kathy said earlier, you've got to be on the right size machine. That's one of the quickest things that can get you in trouble, because they are so big physically and how much they weigh, and you get a small person, I don't care if it's a child or an adult, if they cannot reach the controls, if their feet don't reach the foot pegs or the floorboards, they're going to get in trouble, because these machines are rider active. For them to really respond correctly, you need to be able to move around on the ATV in the certain situations, because the situations are always, they're changing. Whether you're going up a hill, down a hill, whether it's going across a field, you've got to really be paying attention and be ready to change so that you're using the proper technique for the proper situation.
Doug, I bought my first four-wheeler several years ago, a 500 four-wheel drive model, and I pulled 2 offset mowers with it. And I was amazed after mowing the yard how worn out I was because of the body shifting that you do while you're on there that you may not even be thinking about.
And that's what's kind of different with an ATV. If you're used to driving a car or a truck or even a garden tractor, they weren't rider active like the ATVs are. And that's something that we really work with the people in the class, is how to shift your weight. We want you to get your seat off the ATV seat in the proper direction, in the proper circumstance. And that's real important to learn.
And there are times the proper situation is you should be standing up. Like when?
If there's, and we'd say an obstacle. And an obstacle could be a log, it could be a rock, or it could be a ditch. Because, there's 2 different kinds of obstacles. In a small ditch, just 8 inches deep, if you approach it at the wrong angle, not standing up, you're going to get in trouble real quick.
I have experienced that, and now I will know that standing up is a better method. We also should point out you should always wear safety equipment. Quickly highlight what kind of safety equipment.
Wow, starting at the top, the most important thing, if we could get everybody to wear an appropriate headgear. A good, comfortable fitting helmet is so important. What could be a very minor get-off could be very, very serious if you don't wear a helmet. The next thing is you have to have some sort of eye protection, whether it be a goggles or a face shield. And then you move on down to long sleeves, long pants, gloves, and good, sturdy footwear. You're going to be driving through the brush. You're going to be getting next to, trees and what have you. And we don't want you taking your hands off the handlebars because you're afraid to get a little scratch on your arm. So gloves and long sleeves make a big difference too. I know it's a small thing, but it does add to the safety.
Is there a website that highlights this information as well?
The ATV Safety Institute does have, I think it's atvsafety.org or it's svia.org. You may have to do a Google search on those. And in addition to the 4-H class, if you're buying an ATV for the appropriate size rider, the ATV Safety Institute does give free training for all new purchasers and all the family members at a proper age, and in some cases they have an incentive. In some cases it's like $100 if you just come out and take the course. So you're going to have a lot of fun, you're going to meet some other riders, learn some places to ride, learn the basic safety techniques, and hey, you may get $100 out of it.
Doug Morris, my guest, and maybe he says it best when he says, get all the work and get out to play and enjoy an ATV. Until next time, I'm Dale Minyo, and I'll see you down the road.